For those who have never experienced the original Xbox 360 version of Dead Rising, it may come as a bit of a shock, but that version of the game had downloadable content. Add-ons from Xbox Live that would give you exclusive content in the game. The Xbox Live Marketplace is no longer available anymore, which means technically this content isn't being promoted anymore. Today, I want to travel back in time and show you what Dead Rising's DLC was all about. This is a topic that I have wanted to cover for years. In the remastered release of the game from 2016, which I'm sure most of you are more familiar with, if you were to visit the security room and walk up to these blue lockers, you'll find prompts to change Frank's clothing. Most of them appear to be pretty generic-looking outfits that you would expect to find around the mall. Well, maybe for the exception of the Xbox branded suit. But otherwise, there's nothing terribly interesting about these. However, if you were to hook up an Xbox and go visit those blue lockers, you would not find these outfits. When Dead Rising was in development, the whole idea of the Xbox Live Marketplace was still a very new thing, and delivering post-launch content for any game was still an unfamiliar concept. Microsoft was encouraging the Dead Rising team to implement something into the game, to basically promote the use of the marketplace. Most likely, it was just so that the back of the box could wear the content download badge. Because of this, these locker costumes are all completely locked away, and they won't be shown to you unless you download the costumes from Xbox Live. When you have this DLC successfully installed on your Xbox, you're greeted with a new message in the title screen. Then, of course, when you head into the security room, those costumes become available. The way the DLC files of the original Dead Rising work is absolutely fascinating to me, and this DLC is full of quirks and history associated with it. But more importantly, I want to show you how the DLC in Dead Rising actually works. This is possibly something that nobody has ever looked into. It's a really funny and cheap gimmick, and it basically isn't even DLC when you think about it. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and let's talk about some strange code. Ever since the game's release, there's been a lot of mystery surrounding the Xbox 360 DLC and what exactly is going on here at a code level. Today, I want to show you how the DLC works, and I want to show you what's inside these DLC files. Is it a whole costume that you are downloading to your Xbox? Well, no, not at all. You see, these costume prompts in the security room are always meant to be displayed. They actually use the same tech that all the other outfits throughout the mall use. The only difference with these locker prompts is that before they are allowed to be shown to you, they have a key check embedded into the code. This key check is just making sure that you have the DLC on your hard drive. If you don't, they fail the compare and, well, you get no prompts. The whole key check system is fairly complicated, and there's quite a robust system in place to make sure that you have this DLC installed. To give you an example, if you were to download the DLC, equip one of these costumes, and then delete the DLC, the game even has a system to strip away the outfit from you the next time you get in the game. It can be fairly inconvenient to install this DLC just to acquire a few extra costumes. So for many years, we've known a pretty cheap workaround to this, which has been to just remove the key check from the outfit prompts themselves. Not only does the prompt become available, but you can then wear all of these supposedly exclusive costumes without even having the DLC installed. As you can imagine, this means the data for all these costumes, the models, the textures, even the information on where to place the prompts into the world, all that data just lives on the disk. That content was always available to you, and that key check is the only thing preventing you from wearing them. So it makes you wonder, what on earth are these DLC files? Clearly, they can't contain much inside of them. They don't have the costume data. So, what are they? Well, they are quite literally just a key. If you were to open up the container file itself, all you'll find in here is a bin file called a DSDL key. And if you were to open that up in a hex editor, all it contains is just a numerical value. This basically tells the game which costume key this is, and that key check we talked about earlier just references the number that's inside of this key. Of all the 12 costumes that you can download from Xbox Live, you're really just downloading 12 numbers. As you can imagine, this is really just the illusion of DLC. You're not downloading a content package that has an exclusive costume inside of it, which means that Capcom never actually had the ability to add more costumes into the game. It simply gave the illusion that the game could support post-launch content, and that Capcom could potentially add more down the road. But that was never the idea. The game does not support something like that. In recent years, instead of patching out the key check in the security room for all 12 prompts, I found it much more fun to just patch in some code directly into the executable that fills the key check in memory with fake DSDL keys. This allows you to use these costumes without having to touch the raw game files, and without having to install these 12 keys. So what about some history? I mean, what are these 12 costumes, and why these specifically were chosen to be locked away from you? I've come to learn over the years that the majority of these 12 costumes were originally just meant to be normal outfits that you can just find throughout the mall. An early beta version of the game from April of 2006 has all of these costumes available to wear throughout the mall, and none of them were intended to be locked away from you. Back then, those lockers in the security room were just a decoration. Apart from the Xbox 360 suit, it's not entirely sure why Capcom chose these other 11 outfits to be DLC exclusive. They don't particularly stand out or have anything special about them. So for that, I think someone at Capcom just had the job of picking a few existing outfits out of a hat and going with it. That's really all there is to say about the DLC. I thought it would be fun to look into why the game even has a system like this. That's all for now. I hope this was somewhat interesting. I will randomly reappear again someday, but until then, thanks for watching.